As I trudged home from my late-night shift, the city felt like a desolate wasteland. The streets, usually bustling with life, were eerily quiet, and the pale moonlight cast long shadows that seemed to stretch and dance with every flicker of the streetlights. My footsteps echoed in the silence, a stark reminder of my solitude in this unsettling hour. It was past midnight, and I had chosen the shortest route home to save time. This shortcut, however, was notorious for being the most isolated stretch of my journey. The tall, ancient trees on either side of the narrow road loomed over me like ancient sentinels, their branches creaking and rustling in the chilly breeze. An unsettling feeling settled in my chest, and I couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. As I quickened my pace, I heard faint whispers in the wind. At first, I dismissed them as the product of my tired mind playing tricks on me, but they grew clearer and more distinct with each step. The whispers seemed to carry a mournful tone, as if they were the echoes of long-forgotten conversations. Goosebumps erupted on my skin, and my heart raced in response to this eerie chorus. A flicker of movement caught my eye, causing me to stop dead in my tracks. There, standing just a few feet ahead, was a figure that should not have been there in the dead of night. It was a woman dressed in a flowing white gown that seemed to glow faintly in the moonlight. Her hair cascaded in dark waves, framing a face that bore an expression of sadness and longing. I blinked, thinking that my tired eyes were playing tricks on me. But when I opened them again, she was still there, looking straight at me. My breath caught in my throat, and my mind raced to find a logical explanation for her presence. Maybe she needed help, or perhaps she was lost. But something about her aura sent shivers down my spine. Summoning all the courage I could muster, I managed to stammer out, "Are you okay?" The word seemed to hang in the air, and for a moment I doubted if she had heard me. But then she nodded slowly, her gaze never leaving mine. There was an otherworldly quality to her, as if she was both present and distant, as if she belonged to a realm beyond our mortal understanding. I cautiously took a step closer, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. "Do you need help? Are you lost?" I repeated, my voice trembling. She continued to stare at me, her eyes hauntingly beautiful, yet filled with a sorrow that seemed to pierce through the darkness. She raised a slender, ghostly hand and pointed further down the road. Following her gaze, I saw a dilapidated house, barely visible through the trees. It was a house I had never noticed before, hidden away in the shadows. The windows were shattered, the paint peeling off in tattered strips. It exuded an aura of abandonment and decay, a stark contrast to the pristine figure before me. Without a word, she began to glide toward the house, her feet barely touching the ground. I hesitated for a moment, my mind racing with fear and curiosity, but an inexplicable compulsion drove me to follow her. As we approached the decrepit building, a chilling wind swept through the air, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and ancient secrets. She led me to the front door, which creaked open with a mournful wail, revealing the darkness within. My heart pounded in my chest, and a sense of foreboding gripped me. What could be inside this forsaken place? What had she brought me here to witness? As I stepped over the threshold, the air grew colder, and the whispers that had filled the night seemed to converge here, forming a haunting symphony of voices. The room was dimly lit, revealing the remnants of what once might have been a warm and inviting home. Tattered furniture lay scattered about, and the walls bore the faded remains of long-forgotten memories. My eyes locked onto a faded photograph hanging crookedly on the wall. It depicted a family, their smiles frozen in time, but there was something haunting about the way their eyes seemed to follow me. The woman beside me reached out and touched the photograph with a ghostly hand, and as she did, a single tear rolled down her cheek, sparkling like a dewdrop in the moonlight. Suddenly the whispers grew louder, and the room seemed to come alive with a spectral presence. I realized then that this woman, this ethereal figure, was not alone. She was a part of this house, a guardian of its past, and her sorrow was eternally intertwined with the tragedy that had unfolded within these walls. The realization sent a shiver down my spine, and I turned to face her. She looked at me, her eyes filled with gratitude and a hint of sadness. Without uttering a word, she faded away, leaving me standing in the crumbling remnants of the past. As I made my way home that night, the weight of what I had experienced settled in my heart. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had glimpsed a world beyond our own, a realm where the echoes of the past lingered, waiting to be heard. That encounter with the ghostly guardian would forever remind me of the thin veil that separates our reality from the mysteries that lie just beyond our comprehension.